Hi. How are you? Well, is this your first time meditating in a limousine? There's a spiritual awakening that's happening. There's a consciousness that is beginning to flower like at no point in the history of humanity.
I'm talking directly now to that guiding spirit, to Johnny. Have you a message for us?
I think this truly is an age of exploration, an age of consciousness expansion, and I think we're all searching for who are we?
Southern California, in my opinion, is the cradle of the consciousness movement. It's a huge industry. It's a $20 billion industry. The Whole Life Expo started for me in 1976 when I was coming back from a business trip in New York. I was a passenger in a van, and the van spun off the road and into the side of a tree and threw me about 150 feet through the branches. And when I came to waking consciousness, I was hovering above the accident scene, and the physical me was lying there on the body, on the ground. My body was lying on the ground. And at that moment, when I was hovering above the accident scene, I knew absolutely that I would survive physical death as a conscious being. And so when the accident was over, of course, I became intensely interested in what that meant for me and what that meant in the larger context of my belief structure. And so to provide a platform for information for people to inquire and find out about these areas, I created the Whole Life Expo in the form that it exists today. And what the Whole Life Expo is really a university for consciousness. It's kind of like I call it the supermarket for the soul.
My friends and I started with a homemade Ouija board, if you will. We took a piece of paper and a wine glass because we wanted to talk to a spirit that was living in my friend's house. And I think because of our openness and the purpose of what we were doing was of love, and it was very positive, the angels started coming through and talking and gave us beautiful, loving messages that's changed our life. Very profound messages, too. So I decided to make a board and get it to people. Are you Jason's angel? Yes. Okay. Do you have a message for Jason today? It's not a game. I don't design it as a game. I don't sell it in toy stores. It's definitely a spiritual tool. But she said, "Oh, dear Jason, go in love. No, dear, I endure." It's also nice meeting people and hearing all their angel stories. It always confirms that what we're doing is real and that angels are real and that they are there.
I began the business on October of '95 on Halloween. And the reason I started is because I'm an abductee. The first product that I put out was my book called The ABCs of UFOs. It's a chronicle of kind of a life of an abductee. The abductions, I believe, started in, I guess when I was a child, but I don't have the memories of it. In '85, I had an entity in my bedroom. At that time, I was waking up with bruises and marks. I was terrified to go to sleep. The real funny thing that abductees will do, and don't try to fake it if you're not a real one, because we'll know by looking in your eyes, you start showing body parts. Then I had a dream, supposed dream, where they did this to me, which is N is for nose implant, you're one of the pact. And in the dream, this guy says to me, "And you thought we were nice." When I talk to my friend who's also having the experience, the phones would just disconnect. A lot of static. Whenever you talk to another abductee, there's all kinds of static on the line. Have breakfast with an alien, you know. They're just darling. This space used to scare me, but since I've actually had one in my house, I've come to love it. It's like a friend that just hides in the corner. I even contemplated suicide. Not that I wanted to kill myself, but to get my spirit out of my body because they kept taking my body. I think there's a lot of other abductees that go through that. But fear not, because you're not crazy. And it's a real thing. I think that the screening process for the Whole Life Expo is one that isn't perfect.
I do not agree with taking people's money and claiming that you're psychic or you're going to have a cure-all or some kind of a thing. I don't believe in charlatans, and I don't like to throw away money.
But I think you have that anywhere, whatever you do. I mean, if you go like to the university clinics and you get on one of those tables and they do things with you, I mean, they make mistakes, that can be more dangerous for you than buying the wrong product here and just going, oh, well, $200 out the window, you know.
This is the photon sound beam, and what this basically does is that it handles blockages in the bodies, from anything like the chakra centers, being the glands in the bodies, opening them up, opens the lymphatic system, gets the flows moving, and it does, the one great thing that it does is it kills the parasites, the bacteria, the viruses, the mold, the yeast, the fungus, and all the stuff that cause the negative thought forms to happen. And this is the argon gas, which is the ground pulling out the negative energies, the toxins, the pollutants, the chemicals. And this is the positive xenon gas, sending the energy into the body, okay? Back in the 1920s, this cured 16 cases of cancer. And since then, it's been heavily suppressed by the government. They don't want this technology out because they know it works. And the great thing about this is anybody within 20 feet gets treated, because it's sending out a radio wave everywhere right now. You'll be actually getting treated from this. And it's just incredible. I call it my magic wand.
There are some really interesting things that come onto the Whole Life Expo floor that are extremely leading edge.
So what I got on my head is one of these pyramid frames, and people always come out and they go, you got something on your head, but it's something what really works. And the reason why is that this simple pyramid frame, as you see it here, is a four-sided pyramid. And the four-sided pyramid relates to the carbon atom in the body, in the red blood cell. So if you apply the pyramid, it helps to release toxins out of the blood.
These are all modalities that 10 years ago were totally not even on the cutting edge. They were off the map. But today they're moving a lot more towards the center of the mainstream.
Okay, you have to sit down here. So basically this is called aura photography or aura imaging. What we try to do is reproduce the energy field that exists around us. Because we all have an energy field, an electromagnetic field. And the interesting thing is that the colors that you see, they reflect your personality, your state of mind, body, your energy state. This is another method to monitor and verify or show the energy field around us. And over here you can see the colors of my energy field change and move in real time.
You know, when I go into Kmart and Walmart, frankly, there are a lot of things in there that I think are, you know, a little bizarre.
Well, this is called the Stargate, and the Stargate is an interdimensional doorway. It's a tool that's used for meditation, and many people who have come to the Stargate come because there have been spontaneous healings. People who have, a woman who was deaf from birth, she began to hear again. People have come who have been blind and they've regained their sight. Many people come with AIDS and cancers and diseases in their bodies and find that they're able to clear away and let go of the attachments that are in the cellular and in our DNAs. I've worked with hundreds of people who have been in this Stargate and in different ones in meditations, and they do feel the energy. They do actually feel surges as it comes through. They are for sale. We do ask, though, one of the requirements if a person wants to purchase a Stargate is that they would come and do a week-long intensive training, learning how to work with the Stargate. Right now, our workshops that we're doing for just the 2 days, this is our flyer, Experience the Stargate, a doorway to other dimensions.
What I encourage people to do is I encourage them to discriminate and to be very careful about what they buy into and to really listen to their inner heart and only go with the things that really resonate for them and empower them as individuals.
It's hard to argue with the concept of physical resonance. Even Western science agrees that what we're all about is physical resonance, that everything operates in cyclic motion, and when it does operate in regular cyclic motion, that creates a pitch, and from there, the mathematical overtones are undisputed. So we're harmonically resonant beings, and when we're hit with that in such a strong way, the first thing people say is they say, oh, that sound feels good. You know, it's a sound, but it feels good. As soon as the impact with the gong takes place and the tones come out, the body is re-vibrated on a physical level by a highly efficient engine, which is the gong. And it's an amazing thing to be in front of it because you can see the membrane going like this and your body is, you know, doing the same thing. This is tuned to bring in the energy of the moon. It is maternal, nocturnal, mystical, forgiving. Yes.
Oh, it sounds like love.
This is the gong of the Earth, not the orbital frequency, but the element Earth, terra firma.
We owe everyone who has the courage of their convictions the opportunity to make their presentation if they're making it from a place of personal integrity, if they're coming from a place of sincere belief.
Tell me your name?
Chris Burke.
Chris, so nice to have you here. Have you ever been hypnotized?
I haven't.
You're in for a treat. I used to be a TWA flight attendant, and I became very interested in the mind after being hypnotized on stage. I thought it was a gimmick. And so I decided to explore hypnosis with a hypnotist. And I stopped eating sugar with one session. I was a sugar junkie. And I said, I've got to know how this works. Pulling you, pulling you, pulling you. Magnetic attraction, let it come, let it come, let it come, let it come. And so I became a hypnotist, and then a master hypnotist, then a hypnotherapist. I started channeling because I saw someone channel at the Whole Life Expo. I have hundreds of guides, but particularly 3 guides. One is Kendra, who's a hilarious energy that turned out to have lived in India at one time. You'd like to meet Kendra? Why not? Okay, give me 1 second. I would start with a little blessing.
Hello there. Nice to see you. I'm Kendra.
It's a very interesting experience, and the neat thing is that everyone's a channel. It's the easiest thing to learn, and it's all part of our consciousness.
Would you like to know the secret mantra? Very well. Imagine you are a tree standing on a hill with the sun upon you, and you will do the mantra in full gusto. If you feel foolish, it is good. The mantra is ha 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 ha.
We all have a strand of consciousness that's much expanded from this boundary of body and limiting thoughts.
Let's just close our eyes, relax, and begin taking the first breath. Well, I worked as an account executive for 20 years in Wall Street, New York. So I come up with creative, different ideas, and one of them that I've recently come up with is to have stretch limos and meditate to some music and have a little fun, maybe a little picnic and so forth in it, and maybe get a caravan of 2 or 3 or 4 stretch limos. This is the modern cave, the stretch limo, and you know, we have to adapt to the future. I mean, we're living in this futuristic world.
I just think it's neat that everybody sort of has their own little niche, you know, whether it's crystals or these things or juice pills or whatever. Some people go to Trekkie conventions and some people are into this.
Skin cells, because you're coming up and down, the skin cells are flexing.
It's just put it on.
Body piercings, tattoos, we sell glitter, we sell incense, we sell massage oil, scented, edible.
Everything that happens to you is shown there in the eye.
A lot of people are questioning what's life about. They need to find ways to find out who they are and or find out who they aren't and drop that false self and find out, you know, where the truth really is inside and how to love and how to find all these beautiful pearls of wisdom or whatever inside.
And that's what ecstasy is all about. You are the light. You are the laughter. That's how you get to happily ever after.